Welcome, everybody. We're so glad you're here, and we're especially thankful for Bill Turner, who is on our leadership team. William Bill Turner has been working on his assistant instructor certification, and he is nearing his completion of that certification. He has two lectures to give. This is the first of those two lectures. They are 15-minute lectures. And tonight, Bill will be talking about respect in SCUBA. And so, without further ado, I want to go ahead and say, take it away, Bill, and we are rooting for you.
Thanks, I need it. Good evening. I'm Bill Turner, and this is my first lecture towards my assistant instructor certification. Thank you all for attending. Special thanks to Gabrielle for giving me this opportunity to serve the Life Worth Leading team. The leadership team fondly refers to me as an emotional support diver. Not sure what they will call me when I pass my assistant instructor certification. Hopefully, I'll have to carry less cylinders as an assistant instructor, but I doubt it. Tonight's topic is respect. I was racking my brain out trying to figure out what to do the lecture on until I took a trip to Roatan, Honduras. The lack of respect I witnessed was amazing. As leaders, we need to teach respect so we can keep the sport thriving and safe. Respecting yourself and the rules will help keep you, others, and the environment safe. Safety is our number one priority. Respecting your dive buddy will help make new friends. And we need seasoned dive masters and crew. Help them love their jobs so they keep them. They will give us the best dive experience possible and often do so with little pay. We only we only have one environment. In one dive, we can do more damage than decades can repair. And the gear is your only lifeline underwater. Take care of it. Good training. Don't do a cheap and short training certification course. You can get certified in 3 days, but is your safety really worth the risk? Know your physical limits. Don't let your ego write checks that your body can't cash. Don't dive above your certification level. Get certified to, to do the type of diving you like. Junior divers must dive with an adult and are allowed to 60 feet. Open water can dive to 60 feet. Advance 100 with additional training down to 150 feet. Then you can go into tech training and go deeper. Judge how you feel. Respect the way your body feels. If you're up for the dive, dive. If you're not, don't. It's okay to cancel your dive for whatever reason. You hungover, you sick, you injured, just not feeling it. Be safe. Dive another day. Do not use drugs or alcohol, evidently to do speeches or dive or diving. It puts you at risk and everybody around you at risk. If you haven't dived in 6 months or longer, you need to take a refresher course. Your basics and master your basics and get advanced diving certification. Proper buoyancy control is not just for your comfort, it's also for your safety and the safety of the other divers in the environment. Come on. Pick a buddy with the same diving style as you have, same air consumption, interest, and so forth. Some divers like to take their time underwater and look at little bitty things, try to find a seahorse. Some are more active and just want to look at wrecks, reefs, and larger fish. Buddy checks are safety precautions. Don't skip it. Could save you embarrassment or injury. If a buddy is not up for the dive, don't pressure them. Ask them if you can join another group. You can have more than one dive buddy. You can have a whole group during a dive. When you plan your dive with your buddy, pick a side and try to stay to that side so your buddy can easily locate you by a glance over a shoulder. If you keep switching sides, it's hard to keep track of you and it can cause issues. Have a plan if you get separated or get low on air, need to abort the dive halfway through. Maybe you can buddy up with somebody else to finish the dive. When your buddy needs to abort the dive, get them back to the anchor line, boat, or shore. If your buddy is having an issue, end your dive to take care of your buddy and make sure they get to the boat or shore safely. Stay with your buddy. A buddy is useless if you cannot find them, if you cannot communicate with them, or help them, or they help you. If they leave you or leave the group at the end of the dive, have a discussion with them about why this is a bad idea and disrespectful to you and the group. Wear something that makes you stand out. Divers look the same underwater. Gabrielle is easy to find because she always wears her red fins, mask, and snorkel. I wear yellow fins and a blue snorkel and a yellow mask strap. This makes me easy to find even when I'm doing springs and have wetsuits. If I don't have a wetsuit on, I'll wear a bright long sleeve sunscreen shirt to protect me from the sun in the boat so I don't have to use as much sunscreen, and it protects me from jellyfish in the water. Also, it makes it easy for people to identify me. I'm in the picture on top behind the shark. Notice how my fins and shirt make me stand out. Respecting your dive master is key to a safe, enjoyable dive. Show up on time. Follow the instructions. Dive the plan and the buddy system. Pay close attention during the safety briefings and dive site overviews. Briefings have valuable information such as depth, time, directions to swim, what to see, and how to do your safety stop. Don't talk during the briefings. You will miss valuable information and may cause others to miss it as well. In Roatan, safety stops were at the top of a coral reef. So if you're on the proper side of the boat, this allowed viewing of the reef and fish and an enjoyable dive even at your safety stop. If you went to the wrong side of the boat, you got 40 foot of nothing and then sand. Very boring safety stop compared to the other. Dive masters will also cover um, the entry as far as what type. Giant stride, back roll, forward roll. They'll also include where to make your entry from, off the right or left side or the stern. If you go off the wrong entry point, dive masters might not see you get in, causing them to stress trying to find you. Stay with the group during the guided tour. The dive masters have a lot on their plate, trying to show interesting animals while trying to keep an eye on everyone. The last thing they need to do is herd divers underwater. If you get separated and the boat needs to look for you, this is stressful for the crew and all the divers on the boat. if you surface far from the boat and they have to go get you while other divers are in the water, this is dangerous for everyone and a lot of extra work for the crew. Tip the crew as this shows respect to them and is sometimes the only way they make any money. Tipping is normally 20% of the cost before discounts. Tip more if they save your dive, your gear, or your life. We need to respect and protect the environment. This includes environmental safety products like sunblock and insect repellent. Physical barriers such as sunscreen shirts are the best as they provide both physical protection without the chemicals that damage the reefs. Leave only bubbles, take only pictures and memories. Though you can clean up trash like fishing line, plastics, fishing nets, any anything that doesn't belong on the bottom of the ocean, pick it up, take it to the boat. Use the touch, use the look, but don't touch approach. Maintain a safe distance from the reef to protect them from accidental contact. Make sure everything is connected with double enders or bungee type clips. This will help you be streamlined, which will help your air consumption and protect your equipment and the environment. Do not chase, grab, or harass marine animals, including shining lights in their eyes. During night dives, you use red lights. It's much less harsh on their eyes. And maintain proper buoyancy and trim to prevent accidental contact with the delicate ecosystem. Use only frog kicks. This helps keep sand off reefs and from kicking up the silt. I had another diver on a safety stop descend on me rapidly. His cylinder hit my head, giving me an extreme headache. This is both our faults. I should not have let him get directly above me, and they should not have descended so quickly. If you are aware of the surroundings, you're less likely to get injured, damage the environment, kick up the silt, and help keep viz as good as possible. When you see something cool, take your pictures and move on so that others can see. Don't butt in line to take a picture. Wait your turn. And use the correct rinse buckets to keep from damaging cameras and other equipment. Stay with the group. There is safety in numbers and can help from getting lost, going too deep, or staying down too long. Don't be late. Have the gear on the boat and double check your gear well in advance of the boat leaving the dock. Also make sure your gear is out of the walkway. One of the easiest ways to ruin a dive trip is forgetting some gear or have someone step on and break a piece of your gear. Not being ready or being late disrespects everybody. It's very important to take care of your gear and service it. It is your lifeline underwater and could be your buddies as well. Don't let your regulators hit the ground. This could cause dust, dirt, sand, and improper lubricants getting into your regulator and causing malfunctions. Make sure you replace your dust cap on your regulator as soon as you take the regulator off your cylinder. Learn to rinse your gear properly. Salt and chlorine are very corrosive. Cylinders need visual inspections yearly, hydrostatic inspections every 5 years. Regulators need service yearly and rebuilt every 2 years. BCs need servicing annually or 100 dives is what most manufacturers recommend. If you buy used equipment, make sure it's serviced before you use it. Inspect your dive gear before every dive. Make sure your regs, BC, computers, and flashlight all work and have fresh batteries. Have a dive kit that includes batteries, O-rings, a few tools, a mask strap, and have safety gear like a SMB, whistle, and GPS devices. These can save your life. In conclusion, there are consequences of not giving respect and the diving community. This includes increased risk of incidents and fatalities, erosion of the safety culture, damage to trust and reputation. Tragic incidents affect the dive industry and the non-divers, the families and friends of the divers that was injured, and it can erode public confidence in the diving community. And the last thing we want to do is damage Gabrielle and Life Force Leading reputation. Thank you for joining my lecture. Hopefully you've learned something, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
All right. Let's all first give a little respect for Bill for his presentation on respect. Bill is admittedly, this is out of his comfort zone, and he did a lot of research and a lot of preparation, and we want to thank him. So mad respect for you, Bill. You're not just
Good
Thank
a
job,
you.
Bill.
support diver. So, all
It is
right.
well out of my comfort zone.
I'll start off with the questions. Did I hear you say that if trained properly, an advanced open water certified diver could dive to 150 feet, you said?
No,
You did
130.
say that. I thought you meant 130. Okay, great. Thank you. Other questions for Bill?
I'll ask a question. So when we're like, I know you said that this became a problem obvious when you were in Rotan. What do you think are some of the things that maybe like either we teach differently or maybe some of the things that we touch on in our leadership group whenever we're going out diving that could be something that whenever you are out somewhere else that doesn't have anything to do with our group and a dive master's, giving that you could maybe just like small insights that you might take from our group that you could say to maybe avoid some of those things in the future?
Well, when I was in Roatan, some of the things I did do is let me tell you, it's very hard to turn off your dive master mentality after Gabrielle's training. So I went down there just to be a diver, but that didn't really happen. But I still had a great time. Um, I watched out after people. I herded them underwater, trying to get them back to the groups. Um, I talked to a few about being overweighted, how I could tell they were overweighted, and possibly just take like 2 pounds out on every dive till they got to the proper weight. And then you also want to help the dive masters out on the boat as, you know, as much as you can. A lot of times they don't want you to do certain things, so respect that. But if you can help them point something out, bring divers back into the group, things like that. It's just everything we normally do with Gabrielle is what I tried to do down there to make sure that I help the boat dive master and make his life a lot easier.
I'll echo that. I haven't been done a lot of training with Gabrielle from my night advance and night trucks on. You have a very big eye-opening experience when you go to other places and see other divers who aren't quite as experienced. And it's very easy. You'd be surprised at how easy it is to pick up on certain things and to just give very simple tidbits of advice. Being overweighted is one that I struggle with a lot, and that I've given a lot of advice to. For example, I was in Grand Cayman with my brother last year, and in 1 week of diving, 13 dives, I got him down. He lost 8 pounds of weight that he was carrying and wanted to lose more. I just wouldn't let him go down that fast. And it's amazing how much his air consumption went, how much of a safer diver he became, a more aware diver. And we saw some regulator failures and some other things along that dive that just you're just much more aware of, that other divers aren't. And that's one of the most critical parts is just being aware.
Yeah, exactly. It's amazing what I watch now compared to 5 years ago when I was diving before I met Gabrielle. Um, and even one of the things I still struggle with is weight, dive weight. And so at the end of one of my dives, we were doing the safety stop. We're in about 40 feet, and there was just sand below us right before the safety stop. And so I went down and I just took a weight out and put it on the sand to see if I could actually drop 2 pounds. And I could not. And one thing you have to watch is how salty the water is, because there's a big difference in salt water and the amount of weight you need from, say, Bahamas to Roatan to like Grand Canyons. So, you know, it's always a learning experience.
Did you see in Roatan? I was kind of expecting you to say, um, instead of the positive of how you help people, things that you maybe saw that were disrespectful. Did you see any disrespectful examples in
A,
Roatan or other places?
a lot. In Roatan, I saw somebody, I don't know why, they just went and sat down on a rock. So whatever coral was growing on that rock just got crushed. I couldn't believe it. Um, my dive buddy, which I've known for 3 years, but have only dived with him once before this trip, he and I got separated on the boat. I was in front, he was in the middle. He jumps right in, takes off. I couldn't keep up with him. After the first dive, I said, listen, I go, I don't care if you stay with me because I'm going to stay with the group, but you got to stay with the group. 3 days in a row, we had this conversation. And one day he got lost. He surfaced 300 feet away from us. And another boat picked him up. Fortunately, it didn't run him over,
Mhm.
which can happen because, you're 300 feet away from a dive flag. I mean, 300 yards from a dive flag. So you're dangerous. You only see a little head bobbing up and down if you're really, really careful. Um, and they gave him a ride back to our boat. So most of the stories or most of the things I said we need to be respectful of, I actually saw down in Roatan.
Well, that's kind of more so and I appreciate the way that you answered the question because I hadn't thought about it in that way, but I was thinking along the lines of like in your case, like you're saying, it didn't turn out to be, or something really bad happened, but it definitely could go that way. And if you kind of identify, like even what you just said kind of brings up a good point is that your dive buddy, got lost and popped up 300 yards away and his head's bobbing up. So did he not have a surface marker buoy? And I wonder if those are just like identifying those type of things and like then thinking about those in the future. And even maybe, and I know sometimes it's hard because you don't want to like step on the dive master's toes per se, but maybe even posing it as a question like, hey, do we all need to have surface marker buoys, because then it could kind of remind people or something like, any tips or pointers you have on that any of us could take and maybe project out in a way that can hopefully avoid something really bad happening.
Actually, I was the only one with the dive with S&B.
Oh my gosh.
And we had 16, maybe 18 divers on our boat, depending on what day it was.
That's
Uh,
incredibly crazy and scary.
And
Yeah.
that's interesting for me because I always carry an SMB, obviously. But I remember when I was in Grand Cayman last year, I was the only person on the first dive carrying SMB, and then the next dive, I noticed.
But one of the biggest things that I saw that just made me mad was a dad took his two daughters, one was 19 and one was 15. And dad was almost never with the daughters. And the two daughters, one was severely overweighted. And that's one of the ones I talked to about trying to drop a couple pounds. And the two daughters very rarely stayed together. And there was a couple times I went up to the younger ones, like, where's your buddy? And they're like, I don't know. And so I helped them find them. And the leader of the trip actually was an instructor from Emerald Coast Scuba, and she could see both. She was also doing her job, and she could see both, but they weren't close enough together to help each other. And the buddies, they couldn't see each other. But because where the dive or the instructor was, she could. One of the things that really made me mad though was we did a night dive. During the night dive, we all went off. We were following the group. The two young girls and my dive buddy got ahead of everybody, and none of those three saw that everybody else turned around, and except me, and nobody came after us. So I had to swim underwater, you know, a lot faster than I normally do, use up air, grab their fins. I had to catch all three of them, grab their fins, yank on them. And then when we turned around, there were no dive lights behind me, which kind of freaked me out. And I think they were just all pointing away from me. And one dive light I saw flash because they swept and I could barely see it. So it's like everybody go that way. But we almost had four divers lost at night. And two of them were really young. It really made me mad.
Well, that's terrible.
I was real close to going and telling the dad off.
Well, that's, and I think, is where people, and it's not necessarily the dive charters, it is part of their responsibility, but it's also our own responsibility as divers to be safe and keep our buddies safe. And that's ridiculous that the dad, like, well, he's just having fun and hoping somebody else is taking care of his young kids is wild to me. But also, like we're saying, like we're the way Gabrielle trains and the way that our group trains, it's very much this emphasis on understanding the physics and the safety and all those different parts so that you then have that big onus on yourself as opposed to other training organizations that are kind of, the super lube of diving. And you're going out thinking that this dive charter, this dive master, whoever else is, they're going to have, cylinders that are great and all their stuff is going to be great. And we all know that that's definitely not the case. And it's, at the end of the day, it is our own responsibility. But yeah, that is insane. I'm glad nothing happened and that you were there.
Me too. I mean, and everybody on top of the water was super nice. We all had a great time. But some just a disrespect and people didn't realize they were disrespecting. Like my dive buddy, very respectful all the time when you're talking to him. But his answer to me when I confronted him was, "What's the worst thing that could happen? There's no overhead. I just pop up and I'm at the surface." I'm like, yeah, that's not the point, you know?
Well, death is the worst thing that can
Yeah.
happen.
Well, and I think what Jimena said in the chat box,
I need you.
it really is about the way that you're trained. And, I think that these individuals probably weren't trained about respect, and you don't even have to call it respect. It's like these are the rules of diving to keep you alive. You know, these
Mhm.
are the rules of diving that you really must follow in order to be a good diver. And we want you to be a good diver and a
Mhm.
safe diver. So, we're
Yeah, so I would like to say something as well. So that the conversation has switched more towards real recreational diving out of the training of us as professional team, right? So I will try to switch back into the teaching part of us as professional divers, okay, as instructors, assistant instructors, and dive masters. When we teach and that part of the respect, which I really believe is really important. I have go through several things that, really are disrespectful. For example, one time I was in Devil's Den and we were entering the water and there was another group and they were doing their safety stop the end on the ladder that goes in the water. So I'm walking in and then I try to put my fence and then someone is starting to move me and hit me from below. I say like, what's going on? And then I see a bunch of divers down there, and it was the instructor, just like get away from it. So like this is the entry and exit way. You can't do a safety stop on on the ladders. What are you talking about? What are you teaching here? So those kind of things. Today with the group, there were other divers. And for example, when we go to Blue Grotto, usually there will be a ton of other groups diving at the same time. So it is important for us as leaders to make the group aware of the etiquette. I love that word from Gabrielle. It's just that etiquette that differentiate us as leaders, as professional divers, teaching others the good practices of diving. Okay, so I think that's really important to keep in mind to make our divers aware that if there's other divers, there's some things that just be respectful about that because we're sharing this space. So everyone has the same right, and we need to be respectful to keep that going. Now, moving into your presentation, I love the progression that you did. It was clear that you have a script, that you were working with your script. Now, my recommendation will be, just feel like you're talking to Gabrielle or to me or to whoever. I know it's hard for some people that, be more open on a conversation, but once you feel like this is a friend. I'm the person who knows. And if I'm wrong at some point, don't worry, just learn from the experience as well. Okay. So if you do more like a storytelling, it works. Of course, in this case, you had a presentation with a structure and you have to follow that structure. But as you prepare it, it will sound more appealing if you tell us a story. Like this is how I, engage with this, and then whoever is listening to you is going to engage more into your presentation. It was great. I loved it, and you did very good. I know it is out of your comfort zone, Bill, but you did very, very good. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Gabrielle gave me the same feedback when we went over it this afternoon, and I try, but I said I get really nervous when I'm doing presentations, and it's just something I got to work on. It'll take me a while, but I'll keep working on it. But thank you for your feedback.
That's great.
I would say it wasn't for the fact that you said you get nervous in it. I could see you were just I thought kill.
Good enough.
Oh,
That was
I didn't
that
understand
was
that.
that was
Yeah.
breaking up really
I had
bad.
no idea what she said. Ronnie, go ahead and you speak next and translate
Yeah.
for us.
She said you did good, Bill. And the only thing I wanted to add, I had thought it, we were talking about it yesterday, but checking the certification as well, because it was something we discussed with the call that we had like a year ago or so. My reception's bad, so y'all.
Yeah, bad
Let me
signal.
turn it off. Oh, let me try turning off video. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's
maybe
better.
that's better.
Much better.
Okay. So I was saying check the boat certification as well, because we had that one meeting with SEI like earlier this year or last year, I can't quite remember, fairly recently. We were talking about the incident that happened in Florida with the faulty motor and everything.
Oh, yeah.
So respect goes both ways. So make sure you're checking their respect of you as well.
Mm,
Within reason, of course.
good points. Thanks, Ronnie. All right. Um, any other final thoughts or questions for Bill on his presentation?
I thought this was a great topic, and that you can incorporate bits and pieces of this in any open water course, right? Rather,
Agree.
if you were to take your lecture
Yeah.
and then insert it in bits and pieces everywhere, it's just sort of a nice pointers of and reminders of what everybody just needs to hear over and over again when you're new to this sport.
Thank you, Monica. Very good. All right. Well, if anyone has any questions that we didn't get a chance for Bill to respond to tonight, do feel free to post in the event, and I'll make sure I tag him if he's not seeing it and he can respond. But thank you very much for everybody who's been here, who's here tonight. I know we have some extra people who came, and we're really glad that you were here to support Bill, and hopefully you learned something too. And so let's just again give Bill our respect and a round of applause. Yay. All right. And Bill is just an incredible member of our leadership team who does so much for so many people. So uh, yes. So thank you, Bill. And again, Pia, Lindsay, Aaliyah, thank you so much for being here and being part of this. We're going to go ahead and stop recording at this point, and I'm going to ask the leadership team to stay here. And Aaliyah, if you want to stick around a little bit longer, you can hear some of what we talk about. But Pia, we'll see you diving soon. Lindsay, I think you're going to be diving with Victor and Scott again soon too. So thank you very much. Stop recording now.